How are you doing, Zach? Since we're starting it off this way. Anyway, I had a couple questions for you. The first one was, if Adam was not the only person on the earth at the time, or the first person, if that's what you believe, what was the purpose of naming the animals? And two, what evidence do you find the model for the universe that you described it? What evidence do you find that that's not sort of allegorical or poetic language, if you will,
Yeah.
and not a little, or that it's a little one and not a poetic one?
Right. So this question of why did Adam name the animals is a really, really good. There's a lot of theology built into that people often miss. In the ancient Near East, naming things was a form of creation. So in the Western world, we think creation is like making something out of material. But part of creation, or part of causation, like if you're an Aristotelian, is that final causation, the teleological cause, to give it a formal cause, to give it a purpose. And that's part of what naming is. And the reason that Adam names the animals, this is amazing. When God said, "Let us make man in our image," whenever we're creating the image of God, that has so much more meaning to it than just having rational faculties or something like that. It's saying that we actually embody part of the divine command on us to be co-rulers with God on the earth. And part of that is participating in his creative activity. And so this is a picture of God saying, I have created this world, and now you are the one that is going to see these animals and define their purpose. And that's exactly what agriculture is. We have these animals that are around us that we have domesticated, we care for them, and we put them to the purpose of ordering the world even further. You can go into a lot about animal ethics, particularly in the Old Testament, about in Proverbs where it says that the wise man does not beat his animal and is the fool that does not respect the order of creation, things like that. But I would take that Adam naming the animals would be humanity's participation in basically creating agriculture. And in the way that God gives function to creation, we give function to animals.
And what about the second question?
Yeah, the ancient,
the
cosmology.
You have the ancient view of cosmology that you presented is not sort of poetic or allegorical.
Well, I think it is, because most of the text that it comes up in is in the poetic literature, like the Psalms. You have placed the earth on its foundation where it shall never be moved. Job, God says, "Where were you, Job, when I laid the foundation of the world?" I definitely think it is poetic, and that's why I don't think that core theology is hanging on that view of the world. But there have been archaeological discoveries, particularly textual discoveries from the community of, it's either Ugarit or Ugarit. It's from modern-day Syria, basically. There was a big repository of, I believe it was cuneiform texts, dated to roughly contemporaneous with the Hebrew Bible. And the text that's described there, I'm taking this on Word of Scholars, is that the descriptions that are found in these texts also are very similar to the descriptions that are found in the Hebrew Bible. And they paint kind of the same picture of this disk earth on foundations surrounded by water with a dome over top. And that's kind of where that comes from. That may, and to clarify, that's the picture they had in their mind. That may not have been what they're teaching, but that's the picture they have in mind.